It's Veterans Day 2020. We are at the Eternal Light Flagstaff. This is where the wreath laying ceremony will take place. Also taps. Once again, it's Veterans Day 2020. Why Veterans Day is important. We're here to honor all veterans, also those that are currently serving in our military, and also to raise awareness for what they've done for our country. Once again, Veterans Day 2020.
My name is Doug McGowan. I'm Chairman Emeritus of the United War Veterans Council. Every year on the 11th of November, we come together as veterans, as friends, as family, as supporters, and we acknowledge our service. We thank each other for our service. Historically, on the 11th of November, the 11th hour, in commemoration of the guns going silent at World War I in France, we take a moment of silence, we play taps, and we acknowledge all the individuals who served before us. This year is a little different here in New York City because of COVID, but we've done our best to maintain our traditions through the adversity, and I'm proud to say, with sponsorship of the major corporations who participate in these events, as well as the different veterans organizations that participate, to include VVA 126, and I'm proud to have the president of VVA 126 here, Gasior, here to speak in a moment. We come together to commemorate all that we've done, what we have left to do, and to thank each other for our service. So again, to America, to everyone watching, thank you for your service, and have a fabulous day.
Thank you, Doug. Before I go on, a little remiss for me not thanking Doug and UWVC for the great day that they put together today. You know, among the adversities we've had because of COVID-19 and what have you, they have put together a great celebration to all veterans of all wars. Myself, my name is Frederick Gasior. I am president of VVA 126 Manhattan. I'd like to welcome home all veterans of all conflicts that this nation has been involved in, but especially to Vietnam veterans and to our Korean contingent from South Korea here that are with us today. Today's a very, very important day, a very important day to me. It's the day I get to meet and greet my fellow veterans, some I haven't seen in years, some of the veterans of yesterday, the veterans of today, and our future veterans of tomorrow. It's really great to see them and to talk with them once again. Freedom isn't free. The cost of freedom is extremely high. That cost is buried in cemeteries across the globe. I'm very proud to be an American. I'm very proud of my military service. I'm very proud of my country. I'm very proud of the flag. I stand for this flag. I kneel for my God, and I kneel for the men and women that we have lost. God bless America. God bless all American veterans.
With us is Vince McGowan. It's Veterans Day. Vince, now tell us your title and also how did we get here? How did this parade happen?
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm the President Emeritus of the United War Veterans Council, who is the host for all of our events today. I'm the founding president of Manhattan VVA 126. We organized back in the day, back in the 70s, when the country basically forgot about service and turned away from the veterans community, and we struggled to maintain our head above water during the early years of keeping the parade going and keeping New York City focused on the needs of veterans. Fast forward into the 1980s and into the 1990s. For those on here old enough to remember what the days of New York City were like then, the veterans community was needed very importantly to give cohesiveness to the idea of appreciating service. There was a need. There was still a draft at the time after Vietnam. After we left Vietnam in 1975, there was no appetite for taking care of veterans. So the veterans community stepped up to fill in the gap where the government had left us in a hole, so to speak. We weren't getting the benefits as they had been dished out in World War II and in Korea. We were left at a point in time where we had to really rely on ourselves. The United War Veterans Council had been around since the War of 1812. We founded, Harvey Begg and Bernie Ray and myself found the charter, dusted it off, reincorporated it, started fundraising in order to bring the needed resources into the veterans community. As we got into the 90s, when the city was starting to come back alive, the veterans community rode that rise in the city until it became the capital of the world under Rudy Giuliani. And we found our footing again, and the veterans community heard the clear call for coming together. Through the 90s and into the early 2000s, before 9/11, we had the city agreeing that we needed a formal veterans organization. And ultimately, after the terrorist attacks of 9/11, the city stood up the Department of Veteran Services, which now has replaced the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs to handle the needs of the veterans community. That's a fingernail snapshot of what it takes to keep a community alive. And what it does take is the citizens of the city to understand the importance of honoring service, because service is what makes the wheels of progress in the city turn every single day. So our response to that is we'll gather on our traditional days. We'll say the things that have to be said. We'll remember those that aren't here to be part of the ceremony, and with that sort of an attitude, we have been able to build a Vietnam Veterans Memorial down on 55 Water Street. We've been able to refurbish. If you look up here, the Eternal Light, this entire edifice has been rebuilt at a huge cost that the veterans community bears, and we will continue to raise the funds and to keep the public awareness on the idea that service must be recognized, it must be honored, and it must be supported. And I appreciate, Kristal, your opportunity to send that message out. And I hope the young people are listening, because the road to success in the future very well may be for many New Yorkers through the military. There's an education issue, there's a technical training issue, there are equipment and things happening in the world that the military is in front of, and that those that support and join it and become part of it and put their effort into it will be able to benefit from. As they help the country grow, they will benefit personally from it. So I hope you're listening there, young people, and don't be arguing about the cost of tuition. Go out there and do something about getting your tuition given to you because of your service.
With us is Levi, who plays a big role not only in Chapter 126, but also with the United War Veterans. Tell us a little bit about your role and what Veterans Day means to you.
Thank you, Kristal. Well, this is a picture of my late partner, Patrick Walteri. He held the post of Executive Director for United War Veterans Council, and I worked alongside of him. With him, I was recruiting volunteers, training people. We were a dynamic team. Sadly, he passed away in 2015. But that didn't stop my involvement, because Veterans Day, our veterans deserve to be remembered every day of the year, and I'm glad to be and recognize them today. But it's so meaningful to me. It's like ingrained in my soul to remember our veterans who fought and served for the freedom that we so richly enjoy every day. So I couldn't not be here, and I couldn't not continue to honor service every day in different ways. I do a newsletter. I set up a memorial in Pat's name, PLG Veterans Assistance Fund, do scholarships for veterans. And I'm very, very closely associated with veterans chapters, a member of VVA 126 and a member of Rolling Thunder, Chapter 1. And it's just an honor to remember our veterans, because without them, we wouldn't be here.
This is so true. And tell us a little bit about that scholarship.
The scholarship was created for student veterans so that I could help defray some expenses. So I had awarded it. It's been 2 years, because in the past year with COVID and then some medical issues before, but I've donated to student veterans at Pace University $1,000 so that people can help. It's not a tremendous amount, but it helps them defray some expenses. And I hope to continue that. And there's a criteria that people have to complete an essay and submit. And I work closely with whichever college that I do that. And separate to that, PLG also, and this is something that Patrick created. It's called Valentine's for Veterans. And one of my organizations, I used to work in Wall Street, one of the clubs adopted this, where we make beautiful handmade cards for veterans, and then I give it out. I hold a big event at the Brooklyn VA and sometimes in Manhattan, and we give out not just beautiful cards, beautiful in itself, but I also collect from the community all kinds of other things, whether it's scarves, hats, DVDs, blankets, shoes, electronics, books, assorted different things, and it's been a tremendous hit at the VA, and the veterans love it, the hospital loves it, and I hope to continue that. I've been doing it. Patty created it. The last one we did together was 2015, the year he passed away, and I've been doing it every year since then, and I have a team of volunteers that come and work with me.
Molly's other half, may he rest in peace, was such a big part of the organization, the beginning years of this parade, and just a staple.
Absolutely. A short story. I met Patty in the year 2000, and he had just joined the United War Veterans Council. That first year, at midnight, it was Pat, myself, and another fellow, Paul. We were sitting on the floor in United Veterans in the offices, and we were folding programs just to show you way back 20 years ago where we were and where we are, and then it all moved forward. He's responsible in a large degree for helping get the parade on TV, which is wonderful.
Yes.
So, may you rest in peace, Patty. We'll never forget you. We'll always remember you. And all our veterans who proudly served and made the path through for the freedom that we so enjoy every day.
So thank a
bless this
veteran
country.
today. Not only today,
Yes.
whenever
Every
I
day.
see every day.
And if someone doesn't know what a veterans is, because it came to light recently when my niece wanted to, when they wanted to do something in school, and it's important to educate our young children so that nobody forgets what a veteran is, what they meant to our nation, and how we continue. We have to always remember service and be proud of service. That's the backbone of our nation.
A veteran, yes. Someone who served for this country.
And the expression goes that they're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. It's like writing out a blank check, payable with their life to the U.S. government, because that's what they do. And someone joins for service, they don't know from day to day. They may be in battle one day and they may survive, they may not. But their loyalty, their dedication, their patriotism is all there. And we can never forget that. It's in my heart always.
Yes, with us, Charlie Bunting. Now, would you tell us your position with the Veterans Day Parade today?
So I'm the founder of Emerging Vets and Players New York office, and we have a platform that is fairly unique in the veterans community, where we offer former combat veterans and former professional athletes an opportunity to get together. It's a very simple program, and it certainly works. We work out for an hour, and then we sit down for an hour and just have a huddle and talk about what's going on in our lives. And it's a way to not only meet other people that are part of that community, but also offer some support with people who can relate to each other, because veterans are a small community in this country and people want to help, but the reality is we're the ones who can help each other because we're the ones who can relate to what we've been through. We found it to be very helpful to have former professional athletes join us. They've been through similar struggles, and they're very gracious and acknowledge that they never served in combat. But if you think about it, somebody's been playing football since they were 8 years old. Even if they make it all the way to the NFL, the time that they're going to spend there is about 3 years, and then they return to whatever normal life is supposed to be, and it's a very difficult transition. So the biggest challenge is if we're doing some light MMA work and they're holding pads, just jumping up about 3 feet to hit them, because they're about 6'9" or 6'10". So, so we opened this summer, and we're part of the veterans community here, and then we work with the United War Veterans Council as well. So.
And then how do they get in touch with you or find out about?
We're at vetsandplayers.org. It's completely free, and it is every week. Right now we have to do Zoom sessions, but we're based out of the Hendon Gracie gym, which is just about 8 blocks over.
Oh yes,
and
that's
Hendon,
right down here.
and Hendon Gracie's, it's right by Penn Station. We wanted to get a central location.
The greatest MMA gyms around.
It certainly is, yeah.
It's famous for which one? For which
Brazilian
discipline?
Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Yeah, the Gracie
yes.
family is,
The Gracie
yeah, they're terrifying.
family,
Yeah, no,
number
I'm
one.
I fight in Muay Thai, and I like staying up off the ground, especially when I watch what those guys do to each other. But very talented, and he's been very generous in supporting us and providing us space. So we're lucky.
And how did you come up with this whole concept?
Well, I'm a movie producer, and I was on set at St. Patrick's Cathedral. There were only 2 chapters at the time for MVP, and I was introduced to Randy Couture, embarrassingly introduced to him too. He said, producer, you're not supposed to, acknowledge. My friend, who was another producer of the movie, said, hey, you want to meet Randy? I know you do your Muay Thai. And I said, hey, man, just leave him alone, And he just ignores me and just shouts across the cathedral. And then we come over and we talk for about 2 hours. And I said that I had a very difficult transition from serving, and that I could have used something like MVP after he told me about it.
Oh, he was from the service?
Yes, he served in he served in the 80s in the Army.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been a big champion. That's our second platform, was in Las Vegas, or is in Las Vegas. So after talking for a bit, I said, man, I could have used MVP. And he looked at me, and he knew that he had me on the hook, and he said, well, didn't you say you're a producer? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, why don't you produce, MVP New York? And that was about it. So we got it off the ground about 18 months later.
And he was very instrumental in helping MMA get legalized here in New York City. I remember him being at some of the rallies that we had with Madison Square Garden.
He's a wonderful friend, and just kind of a constant source of support to so many people. He's obviously a validated tough guy, but he's got the biggest heart of anyone I know. So we owe a lot to him. So.
Well, we're going to get the word out there,
Thank you very much.
What's our freedom? Lawful assembly, freedom of religion. We take it for granted until someone comes over and drops something on us, such as in September the 11th, 2001. Then we realized, wow, we really need a military. And then parade got more and more attention because it was a period where people weren't, well, nothing's going to happen to us. We're home here and everything else. Well, it came to our home again, just as it did with Pearl Harbor. And this century, September the 11th, 2001, was the Pearl Harbor of this century. And everybody figured, well, they started saying, thank you for your service. You didn't hear that during the Vietnam War period because everything was always over there and we weren't really directly attacked. But we're still here because aggression to freedom is always around. We're always there to meet it. And we meet the veterans today. We honor veterans. Am I a hero? No. But I served with heroes. I served in Vietnam, United States Navy, amphibious forces, landing Marines between Da Nang, Vietnam, and Qua Viet, the border between North and South Vietnam on the 17th parallel. The heroes who gave the ultimate sacrifice are watching up in heaven. But we thank them also. We honor the Gold Star families too. We will never forget them. And we will keep this parade going on and on. Military is needed. Therefore, there will always be veterans to thank. And we should never forget that. Because once we start forgetting that, someone thinks we're a pushover. That's not going to happen again. I think we gave the message out because we will respond. So if you see a veteran today, thank him or her, because freedom, it doesn't come cheap. Go look at all the names down on the Vietnam, New York City Memorial down on 55 Water Street, or down in Arlington Cemetery. Of over 58,000 names on the wall down there, and also in Arlington, Virginia. And all the names on the crosses and the stars of David and all over the nation of the cemeteries. They gave the ultimate sacrifice. Pray that we stay free.
With us is Vicki Miano, and she is a Gold Star sister. Could you tell us what that means?
Yes, Gold Star family is one who has lost a service member while they were serving actively.
And then who did you lose?
My oldest brother, Stephen Pickett, was killed in Vietnam December 14th, 1967. He was he was PFC in the 25th Infantry, and he served in Cu Chi. He was there for 7 weeks, and he was he got over there like the end of October, and then he was killed December 14th. He was a tunnel rat in Cu Chi.
And what are some of the functions that you do and activities for other people that have suffered a loss?
I was very involved with United War Veterans Council in orchestrating, putting together the parade and everything. And in 2007, we went down to Washington, D.C., and we did the 25th anniversary of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. So it was it was the greatest honor of my life, honestly, to be able to be there. It was 40 years after my brother had passed away, so it was a blessing.
As Doug mentioned, my name is James Hendon. I am the Commissioner for the Department of Veteran Services for the City of New York. We do a lot of things, so the quick plug of us is you can reach us at nyc.gov/vets. You can call us at 212-416-5250. You can email us, it's connect@veterans.nyc.gov. On the social media, the handle is @NYCVeterans. nyc.gov/vets, that's us. Moving beyond us and talking about this and what we're doing here. We've had veterans in this country longer than we've had a country and longer than we've even had our military services. The first veterans in America were born at the Boston Massacre 250 years ago in 1770. Since then, there's a long and storied tradition of our people stepping up and answering the call to serve, protect, to defend this country. Men and women from all stratas, all races, all cultures, all creeds. We've got people, raise your hand if you fought in the Vietnam War and you're a Korean, and you're from Korea. Here, raise your hand. So our veterans, our Vietnam veterans who are Korean, here. Look at this. The story of this country is so much deeper than what people, give a hand, please. One of the plaques that many of you can see, one of the youngest veterans killed in Vietnam was 15 years old. The story of this country is so much deeper than what we see on its face, and we appreciate everything that folks bring to the table as far as what you've done for us so that we can still have this thing that so many people take for granted. This thing that is so precious, this thing that is the human experiment that is democracy, this thing that is America and what we do in the world, so we just appreciate that. A couple of things I want to call out. I mentioned 250 years ago. I would be remiss if I didn't call out some other anniversaries closer to now. 75 years ago was the end of World War II. 70 years ago was the start of the Korean conflict, of the war in Korea. 30 years ago was the end of the the beginning of Desert Shield. 30 years ago was the end of the Panama invasion activities. Those are just a few benchmarks on a timeline of so many things in so many ways that veterans have done their part. Not just veterans, but families of veterans have done their part. Not just families, but caregivers of veterans have done their part. Survivors, and so on and so forth, to just build what we are. So the things I'll leave you with, I have to say this as a commissioner of a government agency that's tasked with helping veterans and their families and those close to them. Take advantage of everything you see that's on the table for you as far as you've done so much in this country, we don't even do enough to come close to paying you back and doing right by you and what we offer, but take advantage of the services. Take advantage of the different just things and opportunities that are available. I insist that you do it. What's so tricky about this veteran game is that there's so many, some people know some things here, some people know some things there, some people know some things there. They were trying to consolidate it so you can be able to benefit more holistically, but for now, do everything you can to take advantage of what's in front of you. That brings me to the second point, which is to tell somebody. You may be doing okay. You may not need the help, but one of your brothers, one of your sisters may need that hand. They may need that knowledge. They may need that insight. So please, just spread the word to people, to your left and right. I keep telling folks over and over again, it's the Genghis Khan analogy. You take the arrow and you break the one arrow. If you take a bundle of arrows, they are unbreakable. We need to be unbreakable. We can only be unbreakable with each of you, with each of us doing our part to help our brothers and sisters. And then, last but not least, I started with this, I just want to end with it. Happy Veterans Day. We appreciate so much what was done and what's been given up and what's sacrificed. I've been telling people for years, since before coming in this job, the thing with a veteran is you take somebody who is on a certain trajectory in life. They've got certain things they're going to do, a place they're going to go, and then all of a sudden they take this detour. They say, look, I want to serve, protect, and defend this country. I want to ensure life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And when they do that, it takes something from them because they're giving so much back to us. And so it's so important that we say thank you. It's so important that we show honor. It's so important that we just try to make that sacrifice whole as best we can by you, by your loved ones, by those close to you. So I can't say it enough. We appreciate you, we honor you, we love you, and on behalf of the city of New York and its 210,000 member veteran community, thank you so much. Happy, happy, happy Veterans Day. God bless you. God bless the city of New York, and God bless America.
Hi, this is Fred Gasior, Chapter 126, Vietnam Veterans of America. Talking about our Ruck March. This is the end of our day of Veterans Day. A little rainy out here, a little wet out here, but what we did is we started at 55 Water Street, and we held a Ruck March. Now, a Ruck March, by military terms, is sometimes called a force march. If you were active military and guys that were in basic training and advanced AIT, you did force marches with 70 pounds of weight on your back. Later on, they started calling it a ruck march by having, similar to what I have on my back, but with a lot more weight than I'm carrying right now, about 70 pounds. Our ruck march today was to simulate a ruck march, but without the packs, because some of our persons, like myself, are a little bit older than we were many, many years ago when we were in the military and could carry that kind of weight. Today, it's lucky that I could carry my wallet, and anything that is over 10 pounds is a stretch for me right now. But what we did is we started at 55 Water Street. We walked all around to Battery Park. We stopped at Battery Park, and we stopped at Battery Park at the World War II Memorial. We stopped also at the Korean Memorial. And we stopped at the third memorial, and I honestly don't remember what that memorial was, truthfully. But we did make 3 different stops throughout it. We have ended up here at the inspirational pool at the World Trade Center. All I can say is that I am proud to be an American. I am proud that what we did today. I am proud that the men that have been with me today. I am proud that the men have served with me. And God bless America. God bless all American veterans.